We're here just a little bit early to help people get checked in and ready for our Snowman Snowglobe class. If you can hear us, okay, chat in to let us know you can hear okay and see okay. See my snowman ears. If you can hear. Alrighty, we'll just keep getting everything ready as everyone joins. We will get started right at 7. My cat doesn't knock everything over here. Yay, Mama can hear. While we're waiting for everybody to kind of join, I wanted to see how many of you had already painted the background on your painting, if you already painted it blue. If you did already paint it blue, can you just chat in and say, hey, I already painted my background blue? Because I wasn't sure who all was able to do that. I'll keep checking the messages to make sure everybody hears and to check for responses because there is always a little bit of a delay. Yay, one background painted. It really saves a little bit of time once we get going if you already have the background painted. So that's spectacular. Hi, Melissa. Just checking in with everyone to see if they were able to get the background painted, all the blue painted on their painting before we get started. I just want to see who all was able to do it. I'm sorry if I keep looking over, my cat keeps jumping in and out of the window. I'm afraid he's going to knock stuff over. People are requesting that Nick sings a song while we wait. We will get started in 1 minute. I always like to start on time. I value people's time, and so I always like to get started on time. So we'll make sure that we do start right at 7, and people can just kind of join in as they arrive and are able to join in. There is a chat feature, so if you have any questions, you can kind of just chat as you go along and ask questions. All right, so it is 7 o'clock. I do want to go ahead and get started because I do value everybody's time. I do want to introduce you to my paint partner, Nick. We've actually been doing paint and chill classes since 2014. And this actually is going to be our first live class that we're teaching, our first virtual class, which is kind of weird for us. And we're used to having interaction from people in our class, and we really enjoy that. And a lot of times when we're teaching, we have some comedians just show up, and that really helps along the way too. So it's kind of different for us to be teaching virtually, but we've missed it so much. And we've painted a lot, wanted to get back to painting with people. So this is our way of getting back into painting. So I hope that you'll enjoy it. Ask questions as you go along. Nick is going to be here if you have any technical difficulties or anything like that. I tend to be a rapid speaker, so If I am talking too quickly, please don't hesitate to ask me to slow down or explain something a little bit better. People do that to me all the time. So I'm happy to slow down. If you need to, please feel free to ask any questions. Um, since everybody's painted the background, that's fantastic. And did everyone have the opportunity to transfer did they receive the pattern that I posted on Facebook? And were you able to get that traced onto the background? If you weren't, I have some helpful hints for you. But if you could just chat in and say, yes, I have the pattern traced or something like that, so I'll know. Thank you, Tabitha. Appreciate you so much, more than you know today, especially. All right, thank you. So we'll go ahead and get started then. If you don't have the background, traced, one of the things that I did want to show you, so we're going to adjust the camera so you don't have to look at me the whole time. You're going to be able to see the painting now, and you'll see that I traced on mine. I did my background, I traced on mine already, and I'm not sure how clearly you can see the tracing on mine, but I did want to tell you that if you had not had a chance to trace the pattern on here, you're not always, when you're painting, going to have the opportunity to have a pattern. So one of the things that I kind of use, I just kind of eye the painting sometimes. So the first thing we're going to paint is the snowman, and one of the things that you can use for if you don't have the pattern traced on, to kind of use your eye, the size of the bottom of the snowman is about the size of a coffee cup. And so if you can use that for the bottom piece, and then the size of the top of his head is about the size of a large paint bottle, so you can kind of trace around that. But you can also freehand it, because there's plenty of times, right? Any of you who've ever built a snowman know that that snowman don't. Can you sit back up? Any of you who've ever painted a snowman know that snowmen are never ever all the same size, no matter what you do. And so you can just make it any shape that you want. You can just kind of eye it some. I have the one that I painted here, and then I'm going to kind of paint along as well. But snowmen never cooperate. So the bottom is never a perfect round shape, and then the next size up a perfect other shape, and the next size up a perfect shape. They're always going to be all fluffy and out of shape. So if you don't have the shape down perfect, then that's absolutely fine. You can use a coffee cup, you can just eye it, you can just kind of rough draft it and then go back over it. So we'll start with the snowman. One of the things that we really encourage is creativity. We don't want necessarily your painting to turn out looking exactly like ours. If your favorite color is purple, make your hat purple, make your scarf purple, make the buttons on him purple, make it your own. And if you don't like wreaths, if you have a thing against wreaths, don't put the wreath on there. If you want the bird to be a blue bird of happiness rather than the red cardinal, put that on there. If instead of Joy, which is my mom's name, and so I particularly love this project, but if you want to put if you want to put, that's her son-in-law trying to get points for good Christmas gifts there. So.
Hi, Mama.
So I have Joy on mine, but you can put your family's last name on there. Last year we did a painting at Mama's that we had so much fun doing, and it was a snowman, and we wrote "All My Friends Are Flakes" on there. So that was a lot of fun. So you can put whatever name at the bottom that you want there. Melissa has a beautiful new grandbaby, so she can put the grandbaby's name there. But whatever you want to do, please just be sure to make it your snowman. Be creative, feel free to experiment. If you paint it and you don't like something, guess what? Paint covers paint. Just wait till it's dry before you try to paint over top of it, and you'll be fine. It'll cover it. So, is everyone ready to get started painting the snowman? Okay. So these are usually, these are just the simple brushes that I use. I just wanted to just show you real quick. Well, this isn't a brush, but they have these rectangular foam trays at the Dollar Tree. There's like 20 in a pack, and this is really usually what we end up using for palettes. For my background, I usually just take a big fat brush like that and just do the whole background with my brush like that. And I kind of double load it, go sideways because that's kind of how snow, comes in there. I use a foam brush like this. So I try not to use or have people have to use a whole bunch of different brushes and brush sizes because they're expensive and who can afford it. But in general, the whole painting can actually be done with this #6 flat brush. It has the there, you can see it there, as the flat edge on that. And then I have just a little brush like this that I use to do the finer points. But you really could do the whole painting with just this particular brush. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to just chat in there, make it your own, have some fun, send us some text, send us some pictures. For the most part, when you're putting the paint in your tray, there's no, until we get to the end where we're doing the big pieces of snow, you don't need a whole bunch of paint on there. Just, you're just going to use like just a little bit at a time. So you don't need to glop a whole bunch of paint on your paint tray because it does end up drying up on you. And then you pick it up and it kind of runs together too. So in the beginning, you're just going to start, with just that little bit in there. All right, so let's get started painting our snowman. So I'm going to put the screen down so you don't see me. You're just going to kind of see the board that we're working on and just keep asking questions as you go along, okay? Have a good time. Let's see, I like this particular light. One of the reasons, in the instructions, I have put in there to see if there was any way you could find either the wicker white paint or the magnolia white paint because it tends to be a little bit thicker and different, the different brands have a different thin or thick consistency, and both of them have their place. But for the snowman himself, I like the wicker white. That's what I'm going to use on this one today. When I painted him with the thinner white, and I had to put several coats on there, and so that's fine. Can you pass me my water? If you put your water, I usually use a red Solo cup to put my water in. And if you are using a red Solo cup, just make sure if you're drinking something else out of a red Solo cup that you don't get confused and drink your paint water, because that's really super important too. So I usually just wet my brush just a little bit and then just use a paper towel and take off most of the water out of the brush and then just dip it in here. The reason that we're starting on the snowman first is because if we started at the bottom and did the snow, if you're like me, I would be dragging my arm through it the entire time, and I would probably be wearing as much paint. That's why I have to wear an apron. I would probably be wearing as much paint as gets on the canvas. So you're just basically just going to go around in a circle, kind of fill in there. It may not cover on the first layer that you put down, and so we're just going to go back over it anyway for a second layer. But that's why I kind of start with the snowman first, because if I did the white all down here, I would be dragging my sleeve through it the whole time. I'm just one of those people that I wear whatever I'm painting, I'm wearing. And putting the blue in the background also kind of, for the whole thing, also kind of makes the white pop a little bit and stand off when you're painting on top of it. All right, so that's just how simple it is. We're just going to do the snowman first there. All right. And you can see mine's kind of already lopsided. He's already fallen over sideways, but that's okay. Over here in your lamp post, you have a candle, and I'm going to paint it white first because we're going to want it to be yellow. But if we painted it yellow first, we'd have to make 100 layers on there. But if you can see the lamp post, if you put white down first and let that dry and then put the yellow over top of it, it's going to pop just a little bit more. It's supposed to be a light or a candle inside of this lamp post here. And as we know, again, no candle is perfect either. They always have wax falling off the side of them, and so they don't have a perfect shape either. So we're going to go ahead and give ourselves some grace on that if we can't paint a straight line in there. We're just going to, I'm just using my smaller brush to do that. If you don't have a smaller brush, if you only have the one brush, you can definitely, if you use your paint, if you have the brush like this, you can actually sharpen it like a pencil almost. If you put it this way and then this way, you're going to make a nice sharp edge. And then for your candle or any sharp edge like that, you can just go straight across, and there's the foundation for what's later going to be your candle. Okay, and then we're going to do the little flame in there. Okay, are there any areas that you're looking at thinking, I'm just not going to be able to paint that? Maybe the bird or the snowflake or the letters. In your blue area down here at the bottom, and your blue area all the way down at the bottom, down here, we're going to, underneath the base right here, this is going to be your red base. Down here, this is all going to be covered in white snow. So if there's any of the things like the bird or the snowflake or the lettering that you're thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that, we can practice it in this area down here because you're going to paint over it anyway. So I'm going to show you on, well, I can show you on this canvas here. So let's talk about, so if you want to practice doing the bird before you actually have to do it, you can kind of, again, load your brush so it's sharp, and then just go down here just for a place to practice. And you can practice him. He's just a big teardrop like that. So if you want to practice down there before you have to actually paint him, you can just kind of go down here, practice him down there. Does that help to have a practice place? And then it's the same thing for your snowflakes. For snowflakes, I usually use the end of the brush and make the dots. So you're just going to take the end of your brush, put it straight into the paint, and you can go down here and go over here so you can see it better. You can just go over here and make the dots and then draw it down. So you can make the dot and then draw it back like it's a teardrop. Let me see if I can get that closer for you. So if you just make a dot and then pull it down, and then make a dot and pull it down, and this will be just your practice area because we're going to cover it up anyway for practicing your snowflakes. There we go. All right, and then just for the longer parts of your snowflake, if you take your small brush and just roll it in the paint, it'll sharpen like a pencil. Again, just roll it to a tip, and then you're going to come and do one line down. One thing about when you're doing dots or when you're doing fine lines like this, every single line you make, And every single dot you make, you have to reload your brush because your brush, these little brushes just don't hold that much paint. So you roll it and pull it, and then you can add your little extra. But you can see if you try to make more than 2 strokes, you're going to run out of paint quickly. So you have to keep going back and reloading it. And then you'll see you end up with a little bit too much paint in your brush. So you can kind of rinse it off in your water and start all over so that it loads a little bit better that way. But every time you make a dot for the snowflakes or for the snowflakes in the sky, you're going to go into the paint, onto the canvas, into the paint, onto the canvas. And if you use the bottom of the paint brushes, you're going to end up with equal sized dots. So I think that that's really helpful. What else would you, oh, and then if you want to practice your lettering down here, if you're concerned about the lettering, again, you would just roll your paint and your brush and the paint. And then you can just kind of come down here in the white area that's going to end up covered up anyway and practice your paint. See how quickly I run out of paint because it's just a small brush. And so you'll just keep doing like that. Okay, I hope that's helpful. I always found it helpful to have a place to practice before I have to actually do the whole thing. The one snowflake I am going to do ahead of time is the snowflake that is behind the bird up here. Actually, in the painting that I did, the original one I did that I took pictures of, I didn't put the snowflake behind the bird. I put it up over here out of the way because I didn't want it behind the bird. But the way that the design is on the pattern, it shows it behind the bird. So I'm going to go ahead and do, for right now, I'm going to do only the one that's behind the bird so we can paint over top of it. Okay, so I'm going to use the end of the bigger paintbrush and just go on these dots here that are already on the, that were on the pattern. Okay, and part of the reason, like I said, for some of the order that I'm painting in is to let things dry, and some of it is just because I'll end up wearing the paint if I can do it the other way. And then we can just go over the lines that we've already traced on there. And again, if you don't like snowflakes and you don't want these snowflakes on here, it's yours. You know, you can leave it off. All right, and then at the end of each one of these snow areas, there's a little dot. So we're just going to go dot with the end of our paintbrush and the paint back on the canvas. But you can make them any way that you want. And then I'm just going to add the little things that come off of each one of these. Okay, can everybody just chat me and let me know if you're keeping up okay, if I need to slow down, if I need to explain anything any better. We just chat and say, hey, I'm okay.
see, how's everybody doing out there? Looking good. I like it. Waiting on popcorn.
Mama's waiting on us to deliver popcorn.
I gave it to you in the mail, Mom. All right.
All right, so we're good with our white for right now. If it looks like your snowman is dry enough, if you need to add an extra coat of paint to your snowman, you can go ahead and do that, 'cause it's probably dry enough now. I'm going to go ahead and just add some extra on mine. And then we are going to switch to the black.
Which is my favorite color.
But he's wearing white. And again, we're going to switch to the black to do his hat and to do the lamppost and to do the underline under the bird. So clean your brush off really good to get the white paint out of it. I think that was all the white we were going to do for right now. Clean the white out. And don't drink that water. Then wipe your brush really good to get the excess out of it. And then we're going to add the black for the lamppost and for his hat.
Now I have a question.
What's your question?
My question is, how do you choose your brushes? Because sometimes when I'm painting, I don't know if I should use a thick brush or a thin brush, or if there's a specific brush I should be using and I'm using the wrong type. So what is some of the ideas of picking out a brush?
So for flat surfaces or kind of square surface, we want that as squared, like a squared off one, like that. That's squared. It's going to be a flat surface. And then for something that's going to go around a curve, you can do an angle brush like this. And it just depends on the size of the brush that you're going to, or the size of the circle that you're going to use, which size you're going to, circle brush you want to use. If you forgot black, you can, Melissa was saying she forgot her black. If you forgot black, you can make it a different color. Do dark blue, do brown.
Just don't use white.
Do purple, although I'm pretty sure your husband isn't going to want to do purple. But you can definitely use a different color. You can make his hat red. For that matter, you can paint, I mean, even the lamppost, you can paint it one color right now, and then tomorrow you can go in and, and change the color if you want to change it to a different color. I really like for people to experiment and use different colors. All right, so the hat's pretty basic, just getting the hat painted on there. And I actually am going to do my little twigs in, actually I'm going to switch over to brown really quick. I did them before in black, but if you guys want to do them in black, you can do black, but if you have brown, you can do his arms, the arms in brown or black, whichever. And again, these are twigs, and so we know that twigs come in all different shapes and sizes, so these don't have to be perfect either. So just square off your brush, sharpen up your brush, and just do a straight line this way, and just kind of, you can either follow the pattern if you have the pattern. If you don't have the pattern, just make your own twigs. It's a twig shape.
It's twiggy.
It's twiggy. Just remember here on this side that you're going to have a scarf in between there, a scarf kind of flying out there. So whatever you do with the twiggies there, make sure that you leave room for the little scarf to come flowing out of there. Okay.
I really can't wait to see how everybody's painting. So when we're all done, we're going to have everybody post their pictures online.
Yeah, we're going to
so
have
we
them
can
text
see
it over.
And,
yeah, it's going to be exciting.
yeah.
All right, so the next thing we're going to paint black or brown, whatever color you want to make your lamppost. We're going to paint the lamppost right here. We love creative people. I can't wait to see it. So you can use, I'm pretty good at sharpening the edge of this brush to use it. Sorry, I gotta make sure you can actually see it. Sharpening this brush to be able to use it in small areas. But if not, you can use this. If you don't trust yourself to do it, you can use this smaller brush to paint in here as well. So I'm just gonna go right down. See, I stuck my sleeve in that. I already stuck my sleeve in that snowflake. So you can go just straight down the side here. If you don't have the pattern, you can, and for those of you that are joining us, I can always send you the pattern if you want to do this a separate time. So you can just go straight down the side here to make the frame of the lamppost. And then down here. There you go. And then this is just going to connect here and here, like that, and across the top. And then I'm just going to fill it in. The shape here that you traced is because it has snow piled on top of it. So the top of it is more like a triangle shape, and then we're later just going to pile snow on top of it. But for right now, we're just going to paint the black straight down here to make a lamppost. There we go. And it's going to, that's the pile of snow down there. So it's just going to end up sitting in the pile of snow. And then, where'd my smaller brush go? There it is. And then we're going to go around here, straight across, and just fill in these little empty spots right here. We'll do that, and then once that dries, you might end up, black usually covers really well, but you might want to go back and cover the black again.
That's good.
All right, there we go.
I like that.
All right, so then the next thing we're going to do, now that I've dragged my sleeve through the snowflake, is to go under the birdie, and I'm just going to turn it a little bit. And again, I would load the smaller brush that you have and go underneath of it, and you're probably going to have to make a couple of strokes with it. So let's load the brush, and then we'll go a little way. You'll start feeling the brush dragging and running out of paint, so then just go back and load again, and then we'll load again, and go from here and load again. Oh, there we go. All right, and then we'll put his little feeties on. And his cute little beak. All right, how's everybody doing so far? All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're still going to work with the black for just a couple more minutes here. So keep that out. So the next thing we're going to do is add, you can see he's holding Christmas balls in his twig hands. And so he has little hooks that come over his little twig area there, and the hooks are holding the Christmas balls. There's no good way to say this, but my balls are really small on here. And so you might want to make your balls bigger, the Christmas balls.
Oh, sorry, Mama.
You might want to make your Christmas balls bigger. My Christmas balls are also red. You might want to make yours green or a different color. You might not want balls on here. You might want stars or something like that. But at any rate.
Or how about ornaments?
Ornaments, yes, ornaments. That's what I meant to say. My ornaments are very small on here.
Thank you.
So you might want to make larger ornaments, or you can make stars or whatever you want. You can make candy canes hanging off of the side of there. So that is one thing to take into consideration. As you can see, the first one that I painted, the Christmas ornaments were very, very small. So the next thing we're going to paint are the hooks that hang off of his arm to hold on to the Christmas ornaments. And you can make as many ornaments on there as you want. You can barely see my Christmas ornaments because they're so small. I only made 2 on this side and maybe 3 on this side. But you can load his arm up, or you can just have 1 on there, however many that you want to put on there. So that's the next thing we're going to paint is the Christmas hooks to hang the hangers.
Sure, blame it on Hubby. Sure, I got that one.
Michael gets all the blame for everything. All right, so we're just going to make hooks hanging down from here. I'm going to make a hook like that. It's really the same shape as a candy cane. You can see it. It's really the same shape as a candy cane. So if you want to turn it into a candy cane, you can do that as well. So I'm going to put 2 hooks here. I'm trying to get my brush correctly. Here we go. I'm going to put 2 hooks on this side. And then I'm going to put a hook hanging down here. And another hook hanging down here. Okay? And then we'll come back and paint larger Christmas ornaments in that area. Saved. So now you're going to rinse the black out of the brushes, and after you rinse the black out, you're probably going to want to change water. So we're going to hang out for just a minute to give everybody, or 2 minutes to give everybody a chance to really get the black out of the brushes and to get fresh water, because otherwise the black will affect everything else that you paint. Okay, so let's go ahead and take 2 minutes to get fresh water. All right.
Through the magic of TV, switch, and we're back.
Gracias. Okay, I'm closing up my brown and putting my brown away because I'm not using that anymore. Closing up my black and putting my black away because I'm not using that anymore. I'm not using these dowels anymore. I'm not using these guys anymore.
All right.
And I'm taking my old towel and getting that out of the way. I'm going to sip something other than the paint water.
That's a ginger ale me.
It tastes like watered down ginger ale too. Oh, so sorry.
Sorry, people.
So while we're waiting for everybody to switch their water over, I did want to let everybody know that Nick painted this adorable penguin last night. Isn't he adorable? So we're offering a family class for family night on the 29th. And it'll include all the patterns and instruction and everything too. And that's going to be $10 for the whole family. If you want to have, the grandparents and everybody be able to come in and do that and have a fun time painting it. We just thought he turned out so adorable.
And for those of you who don't think that I actually painted that, go to our website, Enjoy the Journey Paint and Chill, and you can actually see a time-lapse video of me actually doing it.
Yeah. Faster than the speed of sound.
Yes, 21 seconds to do an hour and a half.
Yeah. So the painting's going to take about an hour and a half. We're going to do it at 6 o'clock on Sunday, the 29th. So we're hoping some families will join us for that, because he just turned out so precious, very, very precious. All right,
Okay.
So.
All right, back to painting. Here we go.
And we are going to switch to, I'm going to switch to red. Again, if you want your bird to be a different color or this base to be a different color, you use whatever color you want. But we are going to, I'm going to paint the base red, the bird red, and my Christmas ornaments red.
That's really
And then we're gonna do
bow.
the green part first, and then the bow goes over top of it. All right.
Good to know.
So yeah. So I'm using this. I'm using Apple Barrel Gloss red. It's a pretty bright Christmas red. And I am putting it on a different tray, but I'm saving that little bit of white and black that I had because I am going to use those again in just a little bit. So always shake your paint up really good. Make sure you close your paints up as you're going along, because otherwise you'll end up with a gloppy mess across the top like I always have. All right, so I am going to put a little bit more on here than I did with the other ones because we're going to use a little bit more. And I'm going to start with the base because it's the farthest thing from me, so I won't drag my sleeve through it as much. And then we're just going to begin to paint the red. Oops. Got it? Okay. This is a pretty, pretty color red. Is everybody painting theirs red, or are they going to do a different color? What a pretty color red.
Yeah, what color would you use for that?
A dark blue, like a midnight blue, or
cobalt blue.
Cobalt blue would be really pretty. Yeah. Or I have some purple lovers, and so I could picture some of my purple people doing that in purple.
Let's do a yellow one too.
Oh, bright yellow.
Or a holly green. Let's hit it.
The green would be pretty.
It's endless.
Well, since green's my favorite color, then I always like green. But this is a pretty Christmas color. Christmassy color.
Christmas too.
And again, if you didn't have the pattern is on the website. If you're just watching tonight and not painting, the pattern's on the website, on the Paint and Chill Facebook. So you're welcome to get in there and grab it and use it if you want to paint a different time. Okay, all right. And so we're going to do our birdie. Depending on the brand and the color of red, sometimes the reds are super thin, so you might have to paint over that again, but we'll check on it in a minute. And then we're just going to go in here and paint the birdie. Just follow along the black line that you already put there and that you practiced earlier. Just swoop up his tail. Just go around like that and do a swoop. Zoop, like that. And then just kind of fill it in. If you don't trust yourself to use a bigger brush, then just use the smaller brush. And then we're going to let that dry. I am actually going to use the end of my foam brush to make my Christmas ornaments this time so that they're a little bit bigger than the other ones. So I'm just going to put the end in the paint. And if you're experimenting with something, you're like, I don't know if that's going to work or not, try it on your foam first to see. Or you still have your area down here that you're going to paint over, but I would do it in white. But I think this is going to work out fine. I think this is going to be a much better size. So I'm going to put one of the ornaments here.
Ooh.
I like that.
Somebody's puppy's going to like that.
And then another zoop here. These are much better than the other Christmas ornaments that I did. There we go. And then we'll let that dry a little bit. And then be thinking about, if you haven't decided yet what color you're going to do his scarf. In the painting, in the one that I did his the original one I did his scarf green, and then I did a gray band across his hat here. But you could put a red band across the hat here, or you can make a red scarf, whatever colors that you want to do. All right, and we're going to do that in just a little bit. All right. And then we're going to rinse. If you're done with the red, if it's not dry yet, don't try to cover it while it's still wet, because if you put wet paint on wet paint, it pulls it off instead of coats it again. So just let it dry some more if it looks like it needs another coat. And then we're going to rinse the brushes and go to our wreath. If yours, before the wreath, if your snowman looks like he needs another coat, mine's fine. But if he looks like he needs another white coat, you can go ahead and do that, but just make sure you rinse your brush really good to get all that, the red out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to save the red because I'm going to go back over it. And then with the greens, I usually use a double loaded brush. So is everyone ready to do the wreath, or do we need just a minute? Is everybody ready to do their wreath, or do we need just a minute? If you need just a minute, say, hold on.
Or go faster.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and jump in to the wreath. And I like to do double loading. So what double loading means is I'm using two different colors of green that are kind of super contrasting. One is a bright Christmas green. Oh, Melissa needs a minute. And another, just a contrasting color of green. So I'm going to wait for Melissa to catch up 1 minute while I put the green on the plate here. All right, so I'm just putting the two colors green there and just waiting just a minute, let everybody get caught up. I don't want anybody to feel rushed, so just go ahead and catch up. Here's some of our other adorable snowman guys. So when you're looking at him, you see there's no way to do snowman exactly alike. Their noses are different, their mouths are different, their little twig arms are different. So none of them need to be exactly alike. I wanted to show you this other, just while everybody is catching up, I wanted to show you this other snowy background. This is from a different painting that we did that I just am in love with. But you can see this was more of a grayish sky, grayish winter snowy sky that we did with the cardinals. So you can see you can do all kinds of backgrounds. You can make it any way you want. That's mine.
We'll have to paint it over on those one day. That's fun. Okay, I think we're ready.
Are we ready to move on to the wreath? I know, I love my cardinal. He's so cute.
Okay.
All right. So for the wreath, you have, if you copied the pattern, then if you trace the pattern on, then you have a circle here around the lamppost, And if you didn't copy the pattern and you're looking how to replicate it, then again, the wreath is about the size of the bottom of a big thing of paint. And so if you just put that there, that's about the size of the wreath. Again, with wreaths, no two wreaths are the same size. None of them look alike, so your wreath doesn't necessarily have to look like the wreath of the painting or the wreath from the pattern. So we're just going to put it on there however you want it on there. If you don't like wreaths, because some people just don't, if you don't like wreaths, then just leave it off. We're doing the bow last because the bow actually sits on top of the wreath. So we're going to paint it kind of over top of it.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's designed to sit
I
over
would have
top
painted
of it.
that bow first.
And then you try to paint the wreath around it, and it's kind of the opposite.
I would have messed up.
Thank you, Tabitha. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, we love painting. We started getting back in the habit of doing it after, with COVID and everything. It's just, keeps us off the street. So most of the time anyway. So with double loading, I like to double load to give it some depth. It just means putting two colors side by side, and then you load the brush. You literally put the brush in between each side, each color, so that you have some of both on there. And when we first do this wreath, it's going to look kind of helter-skelter, but then we're going to go back and make it not helter-skelter. But we're just going to start the foundation of it by just kind of going around the circle that we have there and just making some little X's all the way around the circle shape. And that's just going to be our foundation. You can see it's kind of little X's that go all the way around the circle. And you can make the wreath as big or as little as you want it to be. You're going to probably overlap that bow just a little bit. But you can make it huge, or you can just make it, I'm not super fond of wreaths, so I'm just going to make mine kind of smaller. But you can make it really big if you want. Completely up to you.
I'm really curious to see how Mama's wreath turns out.
I know. She makes beautiful wreaths. That's why I can't make wreaths better than her. That's why So we're really just doing this kind of X's as just the base of the wreath there. Just kind of helter-skelter around it like that. Okay, so you just go all the way around it, even on top of the lamp post. You're going to go right over top of it. Ta-da!
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, and then I chose to do my scarf, the green colors, because green is my favorite color. But if you're going to do your scarf red or some other color, you can use two colors and double load it, or you can just make it a single color. So I'm going to just show you how I did mine with it double loaded. So again, I go into both of the colors so that my paintbrush has the two colors side by side, and so I can kind of see that the two colors side by side. And then if you have the pattern already there, just follow your pattern. If you don't, you're just literally going to take your you're going to start here at the top of the second piece of the snowman's body and just kind of go zoop underneath his neck like that, and there's the first part of your scarf. You're just going to go from here straight over to the other side there.
So pretty much from twig to twig.
From twig to shining twig. Okay? And if you think about scarves that you wear, you know, they're thicker like that. They're about that wide. So then the piece that comes flying off of them in the wind is really going to be the same width. So again, I would double load my brush. And then I'm going to just start right here, because if I had a piece of scarf that was flying down, obviously it's attached to this piece that's up here. So I would just start here and just bring it down and maybe twist it out like that. And then I would go up here, same thing, it starts here on this scarf. So I'm just going to go up there and twist it out like that. Oh, I just got scarf on his face. That's okay, I'll fix it.
Oh, he's a scarf face.
Yeah, he's a scarf face. Very good. That was very good. Are you going to be already taking tips, or?
I'm just saying. The name of the snowman is Scarface. Brought to you by the letter S.
So I'm going back over this one because it is a little thin one time, and then I'm going to have to come back and do him again there. So I'm going to wait till that dries, and then I'm going to go back and add the details, maybe put some stripes on there, maybe put some polka dots on there, maybe draw the end of the fringe on there. So I got to let that dry and see what I want to add to it this time. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is go back and add some leaves to the wreath, because that little bit we put on there is probably dry by now, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. Do these jiggle? Mr. Snowman, what color is he? Red bow. Okay. All right. So the way we're going to do the leaves on the wreath, is everybody ready for leaves on the oh, tongue twister. Wow. Is everybody ready for leaves on their wreaths? Just dropped a dot of water on my birdie. Okay, so the way we're going to do the leaves on the wreath is the same way that we did the dots right here on the snowflake. So we're going to put the end of the brush in one of the colors of green, and we're just going to start here and just put a dot and then drag it. And then we're just going to put random leaves by putting a dot and dragging it, put a dot and drag it, and just put them kind of random across here. Some can face up, some can face down. Let me know if you can see that okay. If you can't, I can do it on a different color canvas.
Now, is it supposed to represent pine cones or holly or leaves? What are we making here?
Leaves, pine cones, whatever you want them to be. They're supposed to be like leaves. So you can make some come inside the wreath, and then you'll want to clean off the end of your paintbrush and go to your other color green. And then just continue building with the leaves that way. So this is my bright green one. Just put those on top of and around the other ones, whatever empty spaces you want to fill in here. Oops, got the wrong color.
I thought it was an important text, but it wasn't.
And if you have a brighter green, you'll probably want that to go on the lamppost here, because it'll stand out a little bit better off of that black than the darker green will. So we're just going to continue to go around putting leaves until it looks like a wreath to you. So it looks like it has plenty of leaves. Thank you. My cat has lost his mind. He's hearing voices and things. And then we're going to go back in and add some red berries. Not balls, berries. We're going to go back in and add some red berries in just a minute. So we'll let that dry for a minute. Yes, Melissa, red and yellow make orange. All right, after we get the green painted there, we're going to go back and add the little red berries on there in just a little while, but we don't want to add them right now. So check to see if your bird or your base, I'm going to rinse the green out of my brush now, and then check to see if your bird or your base need, here's Blackbeard, he was painting earlier with us. He only wants up here if it's his idea. So check to see if your red base, or whatever color you painted it, or your bird need a second coat on them. If they do, let me know so we can wait just a minute while you put the second coat on. Does your base or your birdie need a second coat? Just chat me and let me know if you need to wait just a minute. Okay, if they don't need a second coat, we're going to put yellow on our candle. I have yellow, but as Melissa pointed out, if you have if you have colors you want to mix to you'll need the yellow and red to make orange for his carrot nose there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint over my candle with my yellow. This is a beautiful yellow color. This is folk art and it's called daffodil yellow, and it's such a pretty color yellow. All right, so we're just going to go back over top of this, and you'll see how much it stands out since we put the white behind it. There we go. And then we're going to do the little flame by doing the end of the paintbrush in the yellow, put it there and go up like that, just like we did with the snowflake and with the leaves. Poor Mama, her paints are in bad shape because she gave most of them to me, so she's stuck with bad paints.
Well, Mama, if you send a note to the North Pole, maybe Santa will bring you some new paints this year. Then again, you've got to be a good girl for that.
All right, there's that. There goes
So
that.
I'm not sure how that's going to work out for you in the long run there.
Okay, so if you have, oh Mama, if you have orange, use orange. We're going to use orange for his nose. I still have yellow on my paint, so I am going to mix some red together to kind of get an orangish color that I like. And then I'm going to paint his nose with that. Oh, I kind of like that color. That's kind of a nice orangey. Or is that too pinky? All right, we're going with that. So you can practice on your tray. If you have the brush like this, just set it down and then leave one side still and just move the other side sideways. So just set it down and then just twist it a little bit, and there's your carrot nose. So just set it down and just twist it a little bit. If you set it on its end like that and just twist it, there's your little carrot nose. Okay, so we'll put his little carrot nose in next. So it's upside down. This way. And the nose is, I'll show you where the location of the nose so you can kind of judge where you're putting it. It's kind of right in the middle. And then it goes almost up to the hat in this one. And yeah, you can see he has a skinny little nose. He has kind of a skinny nose. And he has kind of a fatter nose. So whatever size nose you want on there. It's hard for me to sit down. There's his little nose. There. So cute. And you can make it as long or as short as you want. If you want to add to it, just start there and kind of add to it. All right, and then I'm going to rinse my brush. And then we're going to start doing some details.
All right, very exciting.
All right. So we're going to add some highlighting to, Mama said she can't paint. Mama's saying that she can't paint.
Yeah.
She's painted the deck, she's painted every room in the house, and keeping in mind that she's 80 years old, 80 and a half years old now.
3/4. Don't rush it now.
And can you give me my water back? Just make it closer, thank you. So we're going to add some gray, little bit of gray here on just the side of his body, and here on just the side of the body, and just on the sides here to give him some depth, and just on the sides of his face. Okay, you can see it's barely gray. So we're going to mix some, unless you have gray paint, we're going to mix some white and black together, and it just doesn't take much. So we're just going to wet our brush and get the excess water off of it and mix just a little bit of black with some white. So it's just not a lot at all. The black really wants to make it dark gray. So just till it's just a light gray. And then you're going to just barely go around the outside. Just barely kind of go around the outside like that. And like that. And then reload and go around the outside here.
And for the guys out there, she meant paint.
Just paint around the outside here.
My mind went somewhere else when you said that.
All right, just paint here. It's so easy though to make this color too dark. So just use just a tiny little bit. If you do end up making it too dark, you can always paint the white back over it. So just be super careful. And then I'm just going to kind of blend mine in here. I'm actually going to paint just a little bit of white over it because I don't like the edge that it left there. So if that happens to you, you can just kind of paint some white over it. It's just supposed to be highlight to kind of add some depth there. Okay. I know when I originally did mine, I put way too much. I didn't like it at all. So it's just a little bit of highlight on there. Okay. All right. Mama's wanting to meet Melissa's husband and he's going to show his painting He's going to text his painting over to
Yeah,
us.
everybody's got to stand with their painting and take a picture of it,
Yeah,
and send it to us.
text it and yeah, put it on Facebook. All right. So the other thing that I used that gray for that I did that you don't have to do, you can definitely do yours differently, was the hat band. So I just pulled the hat band straight over like that with that brush, that same white brush. But you can make yours a different color. You can put a poinsettia on there. You can put a tree on there. Well, hopefully soon we can go back to having classes in person. That's what we're hoping for.
Right, so if we have a date with Melissa and her husband and Mama.
Yeah.
Right.
That'll be fun. Melissa's super talented. She's very talented. And Sue, poor Sue didn't get to come tonight because she's having more eye surgery, so I really feel bad about that. So we're just going to do the, he can, if he's good at drawing, he can make us up some patterns, draw some things for us, and then we'll paint what he draws. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with the gray. And then we're going to add his eyes, his mouth, his buttons, the birdie's eyes, and the heart on here that's supposed to be his wings, okay? So if you're doing the eyes a different color, if you're going to do those blue or green or a different color, go ahead and get those colors ready. Otherwise, we're... Tabitha, anybody can paint. Everybody can paint. You're going to do the penguin with us. You can do the penguin. That'll be fun. So for the eyes, I'm going to just use the end of the brush. It always goes one time in the paint and then one time on the canvas, one time on the paint, one time on the canvas. I did that upside down, so I hope I put his eyes in the right place. Looks like it. Okay. And then I'm going to give the birdie an eyeball right here. And I'm going to use the smaller brush because I have it. And I'm going to roll that in the paint so I make a sharp edge. And then I'm going to add wings for the birdie. And it is... doing it upside down is a challenge. Which way is the heart going? That way. Okay. So we're just going to do one side of the heart. And then you're going to reload the brush and do the other side of the heart. My kitty's so happy. He's just purring away here. All right, and since you've never actually seen a bird with heart-shaped wings, it doesn't matter what your heart turns out looking like. It's heart-shaped. All right, so at this point, we'll just kind of go back and let's see. Oh, there's my water here. We're going to do his mouth and then his little buttons. So for the mouth, I use the end of the smaller brush. But you can use, you can make his mouth big. You can use your bigger brush, or you can just draw. A line like this. Let's try it over here. Where the black is actually at. You can just draw a big old smiley face on there. If you want to, you can do whatever you want with it, or he can look super shocked, and you can make him a big mouth that looks like that. So you can do whatever you want with the mouth. But if you're going to do the mouth like this with the kind of the button mouth, then we're going to go in the paint and on the canvas. So make your first dot in the middle, wherever you think the middle is. So I think the middle is going to be about right here, and then you can then just try to space it out so it's kind of somewhat, just kind of eye it, and your second dot goes there, but every time go back in your paint and then on the palette. And then you can make his mouth as big or as little as you want it to be.
Oh, that's huge.
I've done better mouths for that. That's spectacular. All right, I'm actually going to use for his buttons. What did I use for the ornaments?
Oh, that was the foam brush, if I remember correctly.
It's probably over there. I'll just use this. I'm going to just use the end of this. Is actually when I'm tracing patterns, I actually just use wooden dowels, and so I'm just going to use. Oh, actually, I'll use the end of that. I'm going to make him have. So I'm going to dip the end of this foam brush in the black paint. There we go. I always like to test it over here and make sure it's not too gloppy. So I'm going to put that in there, and then he's going to have a button here.
Ooh, that's a button.
And a button here. And a button there. All right. He's got big old buttons. We like big buttons.
Okay, we got big buttons and big ornaments.
All right. So at this point, we're just kind of we're just looking to see what areas might need a second coat of paint. My birdie's fine. My hat's fine. My scarf needs a second coat, so I'm gonna put a second coat of green on that real quick. So that's what we're doing now, is just kind of fine tuning. Are there any areas that need a second coat? And then we're going to finish the wreath. So I'm going to go, Melissa's providing our comedy for the night. All right, so I'm going to go back over my scarf just because the green that I used is kind of thin. So, but if yours doesn't need a second layer, don't worry about it. I'm going to go back that way. And this way, like that. All right. And then I'm just going to kind of do a circle here where it's kind of joined together. You can make it into a circle. And on the ends of mine, I sharpened my paintbrush, so it's kind of like a pencil. I sharpen it, and then I just brought straight lines down like that so many of our scarves are. And then I'll just have to wait for it. So see, I just brought straight lines down to the end of it, but you don't have to do that. Yours can be squared off. And then once it dries, I'll add probably some polka dots or stripes to it. All right, so I'm going to rinse my brush, and then we're going to add our red berries on the wreath. How's everybody doing? Are you keeping up okay? Why is Michael getting blamed for everything? I don't understand. Poor Michael is just blamed for everything.
I was going to say, if Michael's typing this stuff, then how is she getting it and then typing? Someone's got control over the phone here.
All right, so let me get these things out of my way here. Okay. And I'm going to use I'm going to put the red berries on the wreath. See the red berries that go along the wreath here, and then we're going to do the red bow as well. All right. Melissa's behind on a bird.
She's going to give you a bird.
So with the red berries, we're going to we're going to go into the paint, onto the canvas, into the paint, onto the canvas. And I'm just using my little brush, but you guys can use whatever size brush you want based on the size berries that you want on your wreath, okay? So I'm going into the paint, and then I'm just going to start putting berries on here. And they're just randomly placed wherever you want them to be. They're also great at hiding any mistakes you made when you were putting the leaves on. That's why I like dots, because they kind of hide these things. or if you need a space filled in. And they can be clumped together, you know, in like clumps of 3, or you could have them evenly spaced out.
Mama says hurry up or snowman's melting.
Poor snowman. We are in sunny Florida, so what was our temperature today? I actually had the windows and doors open for the first time in I don't know how long.
It was nice today.
It was very nice.
78, 80.
Very windy. We live in paradise. All right, so just keep putting the little berries around there till it feels like it's enough for your wreath. My wreath kind of looks horseshoe shaped, and I'm fine with that. Okay. And so next,
it's like a winter circle.
Next we're going to do the bow. Again, you can do the bow whatever color you want. I'm just going to go ahead and do my red. Or you don't have to do a bow. I should have just not done a bow, actually. You don't have to do a bow if you don't want to. If you don't have the pattern, the bow is really just 2 triangles. So we're going to do 2 triangles. All right, 1 triangle, and then we'll do the other one. Very festive. And then we're going to do the ribbon hanging down from it. And again, ribbons are all just like scarves. They're all different shapes and colors, and they will not hang perfectly when you want them to. So wherever they ended up at on your pattern, or when you traced it, or however you want them to be. If you want it to be red, white, and blue, if you want it to be blue for our first responders, you can do that. And then we're just going to let that sit and dry. And then I think I'm going to put, for mine, I'm just making sure I'm not sticking my arm in anything. I'm pretty bad about that. I'm going to put a red circle around here where my scarf joins. And I'm loving polka dots tonight, so I'm just going to put some polka dots on my scarf by going 1 time in the paint and 1 time on my scarf.
That's nice. I was going to do polka dots on my penguin yesterday.
Oh, and his scarf?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like polka dots. They're so bright and cheery. Although maybe I should have done them a different color so they're not the same color as the Christmas ornaments.
What's another Christmas color? What's a really good Christmas color other than green and red? I mean, you got Advent colors, which is purple.
The blue is pretty.
Yeah.
For Advent colors.
And pink is actually Advent color is pink too.
It is?
Yeah. The center candle is pink.
I think I would know that.
The 4th candle. I don't know. Somebody help me out there. I don't remember my Advent calendar, my Advent candles from the old days. I think it's 3 purple and 1 pink, and then a white center.
Don't remember.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. All right, so I'm just using up some of my paint and just wait and helping you guys, give you guys some time to catch up. And I think I'm just going to put some yellow dots on my bow. All right, where's everybody at? Is everybody on the bow? Are they just doing loose ends?
Well, Tabitha says the silver and pink.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, silver and pink sounds really nice.
I bought her that one year, actually.
And then Mama said her bird got his tongue out like trouble. Birds have tongues, but I
guess they do.
I guess they do.
Mama's bird has its tongue stuck out. The silver and pink is so pretty.
Maybe we should think about putting some glitter on the bottom of the bowl as well.
I know, that would be so pretty with the glitter.
If we had some glitter.
I only have silver glitter.
It'd be like a snow globe where you shake it.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Okay, so let's see. Melissa's trying to do her bow. All right, we're just going to let everybody catch up for a minute. I'm going to later, you can continue. I mean, we're going to finish it tonight, but you can also continue if you wanted to add, if you didn't want to do this tonight but wanted to finish it tomorrow, you could add stripes or stars to your little ornaments. Or if you painted one with, if you painted your ornaments big enough, you could put your initials on there or the baby's initials on there.
Yeah, just don't put 2020.
Yeah, just don't put 2020 for the name of all that's holy. Please don't do that. Okay, well, you finish up that. Your water is probably a greenish color, so let's change it one last time. Then we're going to put the, then we're actually going to put the globe around.
All right. Everybody got their drinks filled up?
All right.
There we go.
White paint. Okay. Here we go. All right. Are you ready? The very last, well, not the very last thing. The next thing we're going to do to kind of pull it all together is we're going to put the white around the globe itself.
So waiting for this part.
I know. It's so much fun. So you're going to put your, rinse your brush off, get most of the water off of it, put it in your white paint, kind of load both sides of it like that, and then sharpen it by doing it like that so it has a nice sharp edge. And then you're just going to go around the outside that Mama said she was ready to change the water already. You're just going to go around the outside. I have mine drawn on with the pattern, but you can freehand it. It's about the size of a big dinner plate. Obviously, you can make it whatever size that you want it to be, though. So we're just going to, we're going to have to load the brush a couple of times as we're going along that edge because we'll run out of paint on the brush can only hold so much. So you can just, and make sure that you're on your, just on the edge of the brush. So you're standing it kind of straight up like that to make your line like that. Okay. You'll just have to keep going back, loading it and sharpening it as you go along. All right. So I'm just going to start, you can start wherever you want. I'm just going to start here so that I don't run my hand through my fence post. And then you're just going to go along your outside edge until you can kind of feel your brush is going to start dragging. And you're going to kind of start running out of paint. If your circle is not round, that's perfectly fine. We're going to fix all that, and we actually have a way to hide it more than fix it. And then wherever you left off at, overlap it just a little bit to grab it there, and then just continue to go around. All right.
Everybody doing okay out there?
Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. You can start wherever you want, but I'm just going to go back along the edge of here. And this is all going to be snow right here anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much there. Don't go too far down into the red accidentally because it will turn pink on you. And then just every time reload the brush, make your sharp edge and come along the outside. All right, circle one. Everybody good? All right. Angel dust would be so pretty. We used to put angel dust on everything. So the other lines that you see here or that were in the pattern were just kind of basically like reflection lines. So you can just go straight over top of those. And again, you'll feel when the brush starts dragging a little bit. And so that's kind of when you're running out of paint, and just reload it again. Okay. And there's your globe itself. So exciting. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. All right, so there's your basic globe. Okay.
I think a couple more lines, I think.
Oh, I missed a line over here. Correct.
I'm helping you.
Thanks. Well, when I traced it right here, you know how the pattern lays together? It was a weird tracing thing going on there.
We forgive you.
Okay, so then the last things that we're going to do, we're going to put whatever words you decided to put on here. Like I said, I'm putting joy on mine. So I'm going to put joy on there first. And then, as you can see, this has little dots and dashes at the bottom of it that we'll go back to. So whatever you decide to put on there, if you decide to put your last name, then whatever the middle letter is, kind of make sure that's centered in there. If you decide to, if your name is long, just make sure that you kind of leave yourself enough room there. If you want to do your last name, or All My Friends Are Flakes, or Happy Snow Day, or something like that, you don't have to paint this tonight. What you might want to do, if that's what you want to do, is type it out on the computer with the font that you like and the size that'll fit on here, print it off, and then tomorrow trace the pattern on there and do the words on there. But for me, I'm doing joy for my mommy, and it's also super easy one to do. So it's only 3 letters, so I can't go too wrong with that. So I'm going to use my small brush and roll it in the white paint. And my brush has got some little hairs loose on it. And then I'm going to start in the middle, even though it is only 3 letters. I'm going to start in what I feel like is the middle. And I'm just going to make the loop around like that. Already ran out of paint, so I got to go back, load it again. And then bring that around to meet it. There's Hunter. Hunter, come and say hi to everybody. Come and say hi to everybody. And then I'm going to do my Y. He's not going to come and say hi. He's very busy getting Pop-Tarts right now. And alternately, you can reach, once this, the red is painted, you can put the pattern back on it again, because obviously when we painted it, we covered the J up. All right, and there's my joy. That's what my papa used to say about my mom all the time, my joy. All right, then I'm going to rinse the white out of that. And color is it? Silver. With Dime silver glitter on it. And then you can see along the edges it has white dots and dashes there. And those probably, when you paint it over it, you probably painted over that. So I'll just kind of hold it here so you can see. You can put the dots and dashes on here anywhere you want, but the pattern has, and again, it's always one in the paint, one on the canvas. And you can make these dots any color that you want. And the paint on the canvas, if you don't do that, your dots are not going to end up the same size. I know this from experience. And then we're just going to draw a line down this way. Too much water in the paint there. Oh, too much water on my brush. And a line this way. And a line this way. Kind of highlight that. All right, how are we doing? Good, good? Okay, I'll stay over here, so.
And for Tabitha's sake, I pulled this one out, Tabitha.
The nice silver glittery.
Nice little silver glitter, if you can see that. But, I don't know, let me know if we need to add that to our snow globe. It's kind of glittery. I think it's fun. But.
All right. So if you want to paint the other snowflakes that are here and here and here, we can go ahead and do that while we're waiting for everybody to catch up. Oh, that didn't come off there very good. My paint's dry. There we go.
Do you need some more paint?
Yeah, I'll take some more white. Oh, give me that one. Just go. It's just thinner in it. There we go. Perfect. All right.
I got an oh yay from Tabitha. So we're doing glitter, folks. Yes, it's glitter.
It's very, the colors that she likes are very classy together. All right. So I'm just going to do this little snowflake here. And then all right, and then tell me if everyone is caught up to this point. I think Tina and Jimmy were going to join, Mom. I don't see them on. Oops, it's kind of a sloppy one there.
Mm.
All right, is everybody mostly caught up? I'll wait just a minute because I know, like Melissa said, you can't type and paint at the same time. All right, just let me know if you're caught up so we can go on to the next little area. I forgot this, forgot that. Oh, I gotta put that in my drink for a second. Okay, one of the things too to think about before we get on to the next step is the when I did my painting, I put snow everywhere. I put it all around the background of everything, and I put it all over everything. But it is a snow globe, so if you only want to put the snow on the inside of the snow globe and leave the rest of this without the snow on it, but just maybe with the snowflakes, you can do that. I just like having it all over, but that's completely up to you because it is a lot of dip dotting to do it that way, okay? Mom said her globe is crooked. I think mine's crooked too. Mine's definitely crooked. If you look right here, it's definitely crooked. That's another reason why I like to add a lot of snow. It takes away from being able to see all of that, all of those little mistakes. All right, who is ready to move on to snow? I don't like them. All right, I'm going to wait just a minute to make sure everybody's caught up, and then we're going to move on to snow. All right, so music maestro. So the next thing we're going to do is, let me pull it back some. The next thing we're going to do is let it snow. We're going to let it snow, let it snow. So what we're going to do then is we're going to just start adding our snow everywhere. So add the snow where it would make sense to you for the snow to be. And the way that I added the snow with the white paint is just to kind of glop it on the end of my my brush, just glop it on the end of there, and then just kind of add it in the areas that it would make sense snow would be. Like I thought it would make sense for snow to be on the top of his hat, so I just kind of patted along the top of there, and that maybe it was kind of falling off the side some. And then I thought it would make sense if it was kind of falling off the edge of his hat over here, so I just kind of just randomly put it hanging off of the edge of there, just kind of glop it on there like that. And on this side, same thing. If you pat it like along the edge, so I thought maybe it would be down on his scarf and kind of watch it like that. And then maybe across the top of the birdie, on the birdie's head. But if your birdie turned out really good and you don't want to put snow on him, you don't have to put snow on him either. I put some snow on the top of the lamppost kind of piled up here. You have to be careful with the shape of that because it turns out really weird looking if you're not careful with the shape of that. And then I kind of put it hanging off the side. I thought there would be some snow maybe on the top edges of the wreath like this. So just kind of start putting the snow wherever you think, if it was snowing, where would snow pile up at? It would pile up on the top of things. from what I remember from seeing snow so very long ago. I'm just going to kind of put it on the top of wherever you think that snow might have hit. Some of it would have probably landed on the top of his twiggy little arms there, on his hands like that, in between his fingers maybe over here, on top of these Christmas ornaments, as we've learned they're called. Maybe some snow landed on his scarf. So just wherever you think that the snow may have landed. All right. And then you can just start painting the snow inside of the snow globe itself. Same way, I just kind of glopped it on there because that way it makes it look a little bit thicker. This is a great place to use the snow text or a lot of glitter in here. And then you're just going to go ahead and start filling these areas in. And just keep blocking it in there like that. And you have, if you use the pattern, you kind of have a little bit of pattern to go by, but you don't necessarily have to, you know, stay within that pattern. I kind of put it around my post there. And I just now dropped it across the front of my, the bottom of my base. And if you do something like that, you can just kind of lift it out of there and then paint back over it with red. After it dries, paint back over it, no biggie. Or just pretend you meant to do that. See, I glopped my red there. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of really neat, unusual recipes for fake snow in on Pinterest too. I have been known to use toothpaste and what do you call the bathroom?
Cotton balls.
Or cotton balls would be really neat. Yeah, that'd be really neat on there. Glued on there. Or the bathroom caulk, what do you call it?
Caulk?
That's what I said, you know, what do you call that?
Caulking.
Caulking, yes. I can't really say that word very well. So there's a couple different things that you can do there. And for fake snow, so you can add that there, and then we're going to paint in all of the bottom ground snow next. So I'm just going to paint it first. You can see I loaded the brush pretty thick to do that, but you have to be careful even when you're loading the brush thick not to get the paint all the way down in this part here. It's called the ferrule, and if you get it down in there and don't keep it rinsed off, it affects the way that it affects the bristles, and then they won't be sharp for you and do what they're supposed to do, because they can't function like that because they're full of paint. So I first just paint the bottom and then I go back and kind of glop it on. Right now I'm actually painting part of the tablecloth too, but it's plastic, so we're good with that. We're good at making messes. Me and Mama and Nick, we specialize in making messes. We clean it up and then it's a mess again.
And don't forget to do your edges.
Yes. You always want to make sure that you've done the edges of your paintings too. And with the white, you would want to bring it down over the edge. I'm not doing it right now because, man, I'm just tripping it. Now you know why I have to wear an apron. Because I make a mess. I have it everywhere.
And Tabitha says, can you mail that one to me in the Penguin? No, not going to do it.
We are headed your way, I think, this weekend.
But you can paint it with me on the 29th. You know,
I can email you the painting, the pattern for that penguin. He's so darn
now,
cute.
and I'm not teaching that one. You're teaching that one, right?
Well, you're the one that painted
I
it. You
know.
should teach it.
We'll have to get some comments in the.
So who thinks Nick should teach the next class, the penguin painting class? I messed up my line right here, so I'm going to do the other side kind of the same way. Should Nick teach the next class or me?
Yeah, I think.
He's the one that painted the penguin. I think he should be the one to.
Yeah, but I think you can do a better job.
paint.
I'm like Tabitha. I'm not an artist, so.
Clearly, you're an artist. You painted a penguin.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just going to layer.
Okay, Melissa's ahead. She's doing a bird.
She's behind them. What does she mean she's ahead? The bird was half an hour ago. Melissa. I can't wait to see Melissa. She's just so talented. She is such an artist. She's just really good. All right, so I'm just going to continue to glop that on there. But for people that are kind of ahead, this is the time to just kind of, as you're putting this on here, just kind of look and see if there's any other areas of your painting that you want to add anything to, that you want to fine tune the edges of or whatever. I'm just going to finish doing the bottom area here, and then I'm going to do the snowflakes. I mean snowflakes, the round snowflakes.
All right, let's see here. How are we going to do this?
Oh my God, he's got a paintbrush and paint. What are you doing? What is that? Oh, the silver? Nick is putting silver glitter in. I don't think I have any white. I have some blue too, though. All right. Okay, I'm going to lay this down flat, and then you can add the glitter in like that. So I'm going to start adding the dots, like the background dots. And I'm going to use both the big brush and the little brush, the ends, because I want my snowflakes to be kind of all different colors, and I like them all over it. So can you pass me the white paint? I'm going to need some more for the dots there.
I'm doing this for Tabitha. I'm putting some silver glitter in our.
Time to sing Silver Bells then.
No, don't do that. I don't know
So
if
then for
Tabitha
me,
can see that, but.
I'm going, here, let me hold it up. Okay, want to tilt it? Okay, there. All right, there we go. So I'm just going to randomly start putting the white dots everywhere that are my snowflakes. And I'm especially looking to see any little areas where I might have screwed it up, or there's a defect in the canvas, and put some more on the birdie there. I think he needed some on his head. Maybe you need a tiny bit on his nose.
And Melissa says snow is all done before we started.
Oh, she did the bottom snow. That's absolutely fine, Melissa. I don't do it that way because I would drag my shirt through it or my arm through it constantly.
That's a big block right there. I don't know if that's showing up on the
The glitter.
The glitter, but
Maybe you have to put a light on it so you can see it.
It looks glittery from here. But it's also mixing with the white, so it's... You're moving it while I am doing it.
What? I'm trying to do the little dots here.
Okay, that's all we're getting.
There's also one of the paints that we really like to use is the neon paints or the glow in the dark paints, and those are a lot of fun to use. And this would be a cool project to do the glow in the dark with. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to continue to put the dots on there. Some of you may be super close to being finished, or you may need to jump off to finish it tomorrow. If so, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand. If there's any way that you guys could text us a picture so I could share it with everybody, that'd be spectacular.
Post it on our site.
Will you just post my cell phone number so they can text it, and do want them to post it on the site too. I just figured if they could text it to me, then we can show it to them now. Yeah. All right, so I'm just continuing to put the dots, my little snowflakes everywhere. And Nick's trying to remember my cell phone number.
This is your cell phone.
Stupid. If you don't know my cell phone number,
I can't look up on my phone.
It's 772 418.
That's what I said, 418.
47.
That's exactly what I said, 4730. That's what I said.
I wish you guys could see the cat right now. He's just laying sprawled like happy everywhere. His Christmas ornaments are everywhere. And so I'm just putting random snow, put as much as you want on there.
Laura says this was so much fun.
Oh, thank you, Laura. I appreciate you saying that. I really appreciate it. He's a fun guy, isn't he? We have lots of other fun ones. If you look on Facebook and you see any other ones you'd like to paint, we're always open for suggestions. And if you see any place else that you'd like to paint, then we're always open for suggestions, and we're happy to jump on and paint with people. We're trying to get our virtual paint parties started because we just miss it, so much. We just, as you can see, we just have met the nicest people, and it's so therapeutic. I always found when we were teaching in person that people would come in and they would be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't even draw a stick figure. There's no way I can paint." And then
Thanks, Tabitha, by the way.
And then about 20 minutes later, you could just feel everybody just kind of be like, it's so therapeutic and so peaceful.
So Laura said we should do a red truck, and we were talking about doing a red truck.
Yeah, with the Christmas tree.
With the Christmas tree in the back of the red truck for us. So we may do that one before the end of the holiday too.
Yeah, we could do that like the first. I know, I love that one. I love that one so much. I'm from the automotive industry. Traditionally, that's the job that actually pays me. So I love cars and trucks, but I love trucks. I love that red truck one. I'll see if I can find the pattern for that one and do that. That would be fun. With a Christmas tree in the back, that would be so fun. So I'm just switching to using my smaller dots, a smaller paintbrush to do smaller dots, so that the snowflakes are kind of all different colors here.
All right. And don't forget to sign and date your picture.
Yes,
and take,
very important to date it.
Take photos of it.
Post it on our Facebook page. And
we really appreciate
and keep checking back there, because we have a lot of things that we want to paint. We want to make sure we're offering classes that's for things that other people want to paint, not just us. There is a really awesome manger scene that I want to paint on a black canvas. I love working on black canvas, and so I'm probably going to do a live maybe later in the week on that. I'm just probably going to jump on and do that. So just keep going back to our page. And like I said, if there's anything that, any picture that you see or anything that you can think of you'd like to paint, we're so open for suggestions. And consider for the holidays, since, so many people can't get together, it's just a crying shame that people can't get together, but they can paint virtually. And so we have listed on Facebook, we have, I don't know, probably like 12 different designs that that would be pretty cool to paint with your families virtually. With it, everybody can get on Zoom or Facebook Live and paint them virtually, and we'll do the instruction for the family. We could do that on Zoom, so everybody can kind of see each other. Whereas Facebook Live, you can't necessarily do that. So if we were doing, one for your family and your extended family, we could do that on Zoom, so that that's just for your family, for a private group for your family, because it's just, it's heart-wrenching that people can't get together for the holidays. And so at least in this new norm and new life that we're trying to make, at least we can find some ways to try to spend some fun time together. Tabitha, thank you. Tabitha just had to tell my boyfriend what my phone number was. That's really pretty bad. So here's mine kind of mostly finished. Whenever you get done with yours, two things are gonna happen. You're gonna be amazed that you did it. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that turned out pretty neat. And then you're gonna be like, oh wow, it looks like I should have put some more snowflakes up here. My snowman looks like he's fallen over. My globe is crooked. And you're just gonna see all these things that nobody else sees. And you also, like I said, and I know Melissa has to hop off because she has to go to work tomorrow. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate you guys spending the evening with us. And hopefully next time Sue can join us as well. We miss you guys. You guys, love you guys. Take care. And Tabitha is able to see all the glitter on there, so Nick is happy about that for you. But we will keep we'll keep everybody posted. Check back on Facebook. But if there's other things you want to add to it tomorrow, it doesn't mean that you have to completely finish it tonight. A lot of times, where's that? Will you hand me my Santa one that I did last night? Nick was painting the penguin last night, and I think he's over there on the cedar chest. Nick was painting the, is he right there on the cedar chest? No? And Nick was painting the penguin last night, and I was painting the Santa with cookies in his hands that I'd been wanting to paint for a while. And I just couldn't get the cookies right on there to save my soul. And so Nick was just like, you know what, just put it to the side and come back to it later. And it was the best thing I could have done. So probably tomorrow when you see yours again, it's okay. I don't really do it. Probably tomorrow when you see yours again, you'll be like, oh, you know what? I think I am going to add whatever. And if you'd like to do this again and paint it with one of your families, you guys are pros at it now. You can make it for Christmas gifts for people in the family. You can paint it on anything. I'm not sure if everybody saw the videos that I posted, but you can paint it on anything. You can paint it on sheets, cardboard, wood. You can paint it on an old desk. You can paint it on anything because paint covers paint. So I hope everybody had a great time. We really appreciate you spending the evening with us. It was a lot of fun for us and very therapeutic for us to be able to share painting with people again. So if you have any questions, please feel free to chat them over. I hope to see you guys all again soon. If we can do anything, just reach out for us. Bye, guys. Thank you for everything. Mwah.